kilometer radius of the subject properties, ministries and agencies are circulated via email. The subject properties are posted with a sign advertising the public hearing. The notice complies with the notices are also available on the township website, and the notice circulation complies with the requirements of the Planning Act. Our first application is make sure I get these in order here. A26-31 or -23, I should say. This is for property at Part Lot 19, Concession 4 in the Smith Ward. This is a little bit of an unusual application, minor variance for the committee to hear. It's related to a consent application B53-23 that with the County of Peterborough. This minor variance is a condition of the severance. The severance is splitting this large farm parcel from non-abutting lands to the north at 861 center line. The zoning or the minor variance is needed because the applicable agricultural A zone and RU zone applicable to the subject property have to be assessed separately as if they were lots. And so when you do that, this large farm parcel does not meet lot area and frontage within those zones. So the variances are recognizing the reduction within those applicable zones from 20 to 15 hectares and from 20 to 15 hectares within both zones, and frontage is going from 200 meters to 75 meters on Woodland Drive for the portion that's in the rural zone, and from 200 meters to 100 meters of frontage for the portion of the property that's in the agricultural zone and fronting on the fifth line. In terms of public in terms of comments, we have comments from Hiawatha stipulating a concern for archaeological resources. However, since there's no development proposed at this time, we are not requesting an archaeological assessment. Peterborough Public Health and the Kawartha Pine Ridge District School Board have also submitted comments of no concern. I am recommending the variances for approval. Those are my comments on this first application.
Thank you very much. Deputy Clerk, is there anyone attending virtually that is here in favor of the application?
We have no one here attending virtually for this application.
All right. I understand there is someone attending. No,
they're not here.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can proceed.
All right. So I will bring it to committee. Are there any questions with regards to this application? Sir, are you here for that application?
Yeah.
This is, can you please go to the mic and give your name and your address behind you? Behind you? Yeah.
There you go.
This is supposed to be a minor variance.
Yes.
It's a major variance, I'd say. If you do all this stuff that's on this page, seems like a lot.
Mm-hmm. Is that your question?
So do they want to put lots along Woodland Drive? Is that so they'll be smaller, so easier to put in there?
Through you, Madam Chair. No, sir. It's just a recognition. It's a technical minor variance to deal with the zones that are applicable to the subject lands. The property will remain as one parcel. The entire parcel is roughly like 30 hectares in size. It is not being split up. The farm parcel is being split from legally non-adjoined but non-abutting parcel at 861 center line, which is also approximately 40 hectares in area.
So, but if it was split up, you could do smaller lots.
It would, so through you, Madam Chair, in order to further sever this parcel, it would require additional application through the County of Peterborough, and that is not being addressed today.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like a lot of stuff for a minor variance on this page. It doesn't seem minor to me. It seems major.
Pear.
Through you, Madam Chair. So It is simply, so from a technical perspective, in terms of area and frontage, because of the zones, the A and RU zones, that I have to assess, they're technically corner lots. So the frontages that I have to assess are on the 5th line and Woodland Drive, not on center line. So the center line frontages are much longer and would meet the applicable zoning regulations. However, like I said, the frontage is applied on the shorter sides. So in terms of access, I have to look at it from the point of view of potential future access to the property. And 75 meters is plenty of space in order to provide access to the property, either from Woodland Drive or even from the 5th line. And being that it's a through lot, potential future access to this large farm parcel would be from either end. And of course, our Public Works Department then would assess where exactly along that 75-meter frontage on Woodland Drive or the 100-meter frontage on 5th line, which would be the most appropriate to access this property if anybody was ever to build a dwelling on this large parcel. So in terms of adverse impact, there is none. There's plenty of space to continue the farming practice if anybody chose to do so in terms of the agricultural use of the property. There's plenty of space to put a residential dwelling, and there is no concern regarding the placement of a future driveway either off the 5th line or Woodland Drive.
But that would be in the future, sir.
Well, okay.
Okay. Thank you. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. We need your name and address. If you can go back to the mic.
My name is William Dunn. I live at 294 Woodland Drive.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, I will bring it to committee. Are there any questions? Seeing none, we'll move on to A2723, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The next application is A27-23. This is for part lot 42, concession 16 in the Smith Ward for 3182 Spring Lane East. In this case, the proposal is for is to recognize the as constructed side yard setback for a 776 square foot boathouse. The variance is simply reducing the minimum side yard setback from 5 meters to 1.66 meters. We have comments from Hiawatha First Nation requesting an archaeological assessment. If there's to be excavation, Peterborough Public Health and the Kawartha Pine Ridge District School Board have submitted comments of no concern. And given that this is an as constructed building, we are not requesting further archaeological assessment for this one. It was the building was simply constructed, or the boathouse was simply constructed in the wrong location with a previously granted minor variance. So we're just recognizing what the actual side yard setback is. I'm recommending this minor variance for approval, and those are my comments in regard to this application.
Thank you very much. And I understand that the owner, Mr. Lau, is on the line virtually. Is there anything you would like to add to this?
No, that was stated very accurate. I just wanted to apologize for the inconvenience. The original minor variance and the construction, this adjustment needed to be made because the boathouse was made a few feet closer to the property lot line for the updated minor variance. So just wanted to apologize.
Okay, thank you. And Deputy Clerk, is there anyone who has registered to speak for or against this property?
We have no one else here for this application.
Thank you. I'll bring it to committee. Are there any questions with regards to this? Mr. Black.
Thank you through you, Chair. Per, with respect to the interior side yard accessory structure minimum standard of 1.2 meters, of course, it exceeds it at 1.66. Why was there minor variance required for a 3-meter setback from the side yard? Is it an old zoning?
So through you, Madam Chair. So boathouses have a side yard setback requirement of 5 meters as a standard.
If I can clarify, when we originally did the minor variance application, it was 10 meters was I think the proposal or the policy was changed to 5 meters subsequently.
So I see on the thing here, it says, sorry, through you against your interior side yard accessory structure minimum 1.2. That would apply to a shed or something, but not a boathouse.
Through you, Madam Chair, that's correct. So
Okay.
yeah, boathouses, and Mr. Lau's comment there is correct as well. We have since the original minor variance was granted, lowered the required side yard setback for a boathouse from 10 meters to 5 meters, which is the existing standard. And so this reduction is going from 5 meters to 1.66 meters.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions from committee? Seeing none, we'll move on to A 2823, please.
We're at 28, right?
Yep.
Correct?
That's right.
All right, thank you. So next application is A 28-23. This is for 945 Telford Drive, part lot 15, concession 6 in the Esmore Ward. The application is in order to construct a 130.5 square meter or 1,404.7 square foot garage and carport, an 800 square foot dwelling addition, and 220 square foot open deck. So the requested variances are to reduce the minimum high water setback from 30 meters to 22.2 meters to a dwelling addition, to reduce the minimum high water mark setback from 30 meters to 19.31 meters to an open deck, to reduce the interior side yard setback to a dwelling addition from 3 meters to 1.2 meters, and to increase the accessory lot coverage and height to increase the maximum lot coverage. Oh, sorry. So to increase the maximum accessory lot coverage from 5% to 7.2%. And in this case, we have comments from Hiawatha First Nation requesting archaeological assessment if there's to be excavation, and we are including that as a condition of this approval. Yes, and Peterborough Buckle has submitted comments noting that that PPH approval is required, and the Kawartha Pine Ridge District School Board has submitted comments of no concern. Following the report submission, the Tonabee Conservation Authority also submitted comments that an ORCA permit is required, and the County of Peterborough Public Works Department has submitted comments of no concern. I am supporting this application and recommend the application for approval. Those are my comments with regard to that application.
Thank you very much. Deputy Clerk, did anyone register for or against this application?
We have no one here for this application, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. I'll bring it to committee. Any questions? Seeing none, we'll move on to A 2923, please.
A 2923, this is for 1752 Poplar Point Road, part lot 17, concessions 9 and 10 in the Smith Ward. This development is for it's to permit a new 2,335.8 square foot single detached dwelling and a new 290.6 square foot open deck. The variances requested are to reduce the minimum high water mark setback from 30 meters to 15.3 meters to a new dwelling on an existing vacant lot of record, to reduce the minimum high water mark setback from 30 meters to 12.6 meters to a new open deck, to reduce the minimum side yard setback from 3 meters to 2.34 meters, to reduce the minimum front yard setback from 7.5 meters to 4.9 meters, and to reduce the minimum setback from the center line on a municipal road from 17.5 meters to 14.9 meters. We have comments from Hiawatha First Nation, again, submitted comments requesting an archaeological assessment. It is not part of our conditions of approval because a archaeological assessment has already been completed for the subject lands and deeming the site clear of any artifacts. Peterborough Public Health has submitted comments noting that a Peterborough Public Health permit is required. The Kawartha Pine Ridge District School Board have submitted comments of no concern. And the Tonabee Region Conservation Authority has submitted comment that an ORCA permit is required. Additionally, Heather Eldebs, a neighbor, has submitted comments in support of this application. Following the writing of the report, we also received comments from the County of Peterborough Public Works Department stating no comments for this particular application. Again, I am supporting the minor variance application and recommend the application for approval.
Thank you very much. I understand that the agent Laurie Young is on the line. Is there anything you wish to add to Pear's report?
Through you, Madam Chair. No, I just want to thank him for all his assistance in this, as well as to say my client's on the line as well, and he has actually been very proactive in this process of developing a really challenging lot, and he does have his septic and ORCA permit in hand, as well as the archaeological study. So I think we're all prepared.
Okay, thank you. And would the owner, Braden Mann, like to add anything?
No, thanks. But thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Deputy Clerk, did anyone else register in favor or against this application?
We have no one else here for this application, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. I'll bring it to committee. No questions, it appears. We will move on to A3023, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The next application, A30-23, is for 467 Causeway View Road South, part lot 9, concession 4 in the Ennismore Ward. This application seeks relief from our zoning bylaw in order to permit a 1,075.2 square foot garage and covered patio. The release being requested are to reduce the side yard setback from 3 meters to 1.2 meters to the new garage and covered patio, to reduce the minimum high water setback from 30 meters to 15.5 meters to a covered patio, and to increase the maximum lot coverage of all buildings and structures from 20 to 22%. We have comments from Hiawatha First Nation again, raising a concern for archaeological resources. Peterborough Public Health has submitted comment the proposed construction will not impact the existing sewage system unless unless bedrooms or fixtures are proposed. And the Kawartha Pine Ridge District School Board has submitted comments of no concern. Autonomy Region Conservation Authority submitted comments after the report was written, and they are stipulating that ORCA permits are required for the proposed development. And the County of Peterborough Public Works Department has submitted comments of no comments for this application. With regard to archaeological resources, we've assessed the parcel and we are not recommending an archaeological assessment at this site just due to previous development on this site. There was an existing cottage and upgrades to an existing cottage was removed that crossed the property line, plus the existing cottage that remains on the property had foundation upgrades. And there was a large tree that was removed with the roots removed in the area of the proposed development. So the entire area where the proposed structure is going to be developed has been previously excavated and disturbed. So no, we're not recommending archaeological assessment for this one. Those are my comments. Oh, and I am recommending this application for approval. So,
all right.
Comments.
Thank you very much. I understand the owner, Gary Payne, is on the line. Is there anything you wish to add to this report?
Madam Chair, the owner actually was not able to attend. We have the agent, Ian Nichols, who's on the line.
Ian Nichols. Ian Nichols, do you have anything you wish to add to this report?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that registered to be in favor or against this application?
No one else here for this application.
Thank you very much. I'll bring it to committee. Are there any questions? Seeing none, we'll move on to A3123, please, Per.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The next application is for 146 Five Spey Road. This is part lot 1, concession 4 in the Smith Ward. This application is in order to permit a new 1,200 square foot garage. The release being requested are to increase the maximum building height from 6 meters to 8.5 meters to the peak for the proposed new garage, to increase lot coverage for an accessory structure from 5 to 6.5%, to reduce the minimum front yard setback from 7.5 meters to 3.25 meters, and to reduce the setback from the center line of a county road from 17.5 meters to 13.25 meters. We have comments from Highworth First Nation, again, raising a concern over archaeological resources. Peterborough Public Health has submitted comment that an existing sewage system review is needed. The Kawartha Pine Ridge District School Board has submitted comments of no concern. We also have a neighbor, Greg Sibilak, has provided comment that in his opinion, the proposed garage is too large and the applicant should comply with the existing zoning regulation. Following the submission of the report, the Conservation Authority submitted comments that a permit is required from WRCA for the proposed development. And the County Peterborough Public Works Department has submitted comments generally of no objection in regard to proposed application, given that it does indeed front on a county road. I am supporting this application and recommend it for approval. And those are my comments regard to this application.
Are there any questions? Mr. Black.
Thank you to you, Chair Stennis. Per, with regards to the height of accessory buildings, obviously this is residential above the garage, I think, which is going to be something they're going to see more common with the new regulations around how many apartments or whatever can be on one property. Is there any plan to consider that in the zoning bylaw changes? Making a difference between a garage without a second story and a garage with a second story. I think we're going to see this more often.
Yep.
Yep. So through you, Madam Chair, it's certainly on the list of following the approval of our official plan when we get into the comprehensive review of our zoning bylaw that will consider a number of factors, including our accessory structure regulations. One of the things that we've done recently is just through the change of height for accessory structures and changing the height requirements from midpoint to peak height. It's already a little bit taller because we used to be 4 meters to midpoint and we're now at 6 meters to peak. So that was the first step without drastically changing our zoning regulations. But yeah, any further changes we'll wait till we do the comprehensive review of our zoning bylaw.
Great. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none, I'm looking for a motion to approve these applications. Moved by Mr. Black, seconded by Madam Koulis. All in favor? It's carried. Thank you very much. We have no deferred matters, no correspondence. I'm looking for a motion to approve our minutes of the Committee of Adjustment meeting of August the 8th, 2023. Moved by Mr. Boyko, seconded by Mr. Henry. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. And a motion to adjourn. Our next meeting is October the 24th. Mr. Henry and Mr. Black, all in favor? That's carried. Thank you very much. We'll begin our council meeting in 5 minutes. They don't start till 1:30 though, so. Yeah, so. you're- We can get a lot done in that time. So are we ready? Okay. Good afternoon. This council meeting for the Township of Selwyn for September the 26th, 2023 will come to order. We respectfully acknowledge that we are on the treaty and traditional territory of the Mississauga and Anishinaabe. We offer our gratitude to the First Peoples for their care for and teachings about our earth and our relations. May we honor those teachings. Please observe a moment of silence so the council staff and members of the public can quietly reflect on our duty to the community that we are trying to serve. Thank you. Members, please be advised that meetings are broadcast and recorded and are made available on the internet. Is there any declaration of pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? Seeing none, we will go to our minutes of September the 12th, 2023. I'm looking for a motion to approve. Councillor Koulis, all in favor? That's carried. Is there any discussion out of the minutes? Seeing none, we now have the pleasure of a staff introduction. And Robert Kelly.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor and Council. It's our pleasure today to introduce our newest team member. Candace Massey came on board at the end of August for us as our new development approvals technician. She brings a vast amount of experience in the private sector, working with project coordination and permitting for electrical and mechanical contractors. And she's come into the role here to assist our planning team. And here she is.
Welcome, welcome, Candace. Did you want to say a few words?
No, thank you.
All right. Well, welcome. We are not starting our public meetings until 1:30, so we're going to carry on in the agenda if that's okay with the rest of you. Were there any questions for question period, Madam Clerk?
No questions.
Thank you very much. And we will go on to the first report that we have here from Lane Vance, who's going to be presenting that. Janice?
Yes. Yeah, Lane can't be with us today, so it's myself and Adam.
Okay.
So this is budget amendment report number 3 that's being brought before you. So there's a couple of components here. There's a number of items that council has previously approved the changes to the budget. So then we formally bring forward the budget amendment report that changes the way the statements are set out. And that way we can, when we bring you the Q2 statements, 3 statement. Oh my goodness gracious. The Q3 statements in October, then they can reflect the changes that have been approved by council. So those are the EV chargers, the boardwalk on Water Street, the bringing forward of the feasibility study for the link, and then some just some allocation, not really a change in budget, but a number of reallocations specifically to the work being done upstairs in terms of the rolled storage changes and some reallocations of some of the Water Street budget. It was a lump sum, but it's being broken down to the Reed Street construction, the stormwater piece, that sort of thing. So just setting it out in a little bit more detail. And also with the food cycler program, just a different way that was funded through the service provider. So, and then we have the additional item as well that I'll just throw it over to Adam on. There is an opportunity for us to look at some additional boulevard parking on Water Street, and it's a significant cost. So we just thought we'd bring it forward to council for some direction.
Thanks.
Through you, Madam Mayor, what we're looking at is just trying to maximize some parking along the boulevard along Water Street, just north of Reed, down along just before where the trail actually merges back onto Water Street. I think we looked at during original design, that street has semi-mountable curbs, so the intent was really that cars would be able to mount the curb and park on the grass, kind of off the road as they did previously. But what we really wanted to do was identify those areas and kind of formalize that, just to make sure when cars are parking that they're off the road. So we were kind of worried that cars would pull off the road, but they still leave a tire out in the road. And with the defined roadway now, that just creates an obstacle, right? So we looked at that area specifically along there and kind of had an upset limit of about $50,000, I think is what we looked at. And we can kind of refine where those parking areas are, but we kind of picked some opportunities along there where we could get a 2-meter wide kind of parking boulevard where the cars would park parallel to the roadway. Just try to maximize some of the parking along there because we know it is a concern throughout the village. So we're just trying to find some spots where we can.
Okay, how many do you anticipate we're going to be able to get there?
Yeah, it's kind of a council's discretion, but I think we can, theoretically get up to 20, kind of as an upset limit. But again, it would be, at the council's discretion where they go and how much we really want to utilize that parking along there. But yeah, measuring it out, it's about 20.
Thank you. Are there any questions with regards to this? Yes, Jen.
Yeah, I'll just add to that, we wanted to do a good site review just to make sure that the areas where we actually put the paved boulevard in are appropriate. So I think that's really what's going to dictate the numbers. Hopefully we can, get up to 20, but until we see on the ground and make sure that we're happy with all the locations, we don't really formalize a number. So we'll get that done with the contractor.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. Are there any questions? Councillor Henry?
With the additional parking, is there consideration then for accessibility vehicles and their proximity to the trail for access to the trail as well?
Through you, Madam Mayor, there are 2 accessible parking spots identified up near the Canoe and Paddle in the perpendicular parking area there, where they could access the trail to the north of the dam, I guess. But the paved boulevard area, there isn't really a lot of, we're going to review it in more detail, but an opportunity to make them wide enough to really meet accessibility standards. So
Thank you.
a 2-meter spot we'd be looking for, and you need close to 3 or 3.5 meters to meet those standards.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? I'm looking for someone to approve the recommendation in front of us. Moved by Councillor Henry, seconded by Councillor Boyko. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. Okay, we're moving on now to consent items. The bane of my existence. Does anyone want anything pulled? Deputy Mayor Black.
5A and 5B.
Sorry?
5A and 5B.
5A and 5B. Anyone else? All right, I'd like a motion to approve everything else. So Councillor Henry and Councillor Boyko, all in favor? It's carried. Thank you. 5A.
Thank you to you, Mayor Senes. Thanks for the report, Lily. It was an excellent report. Just with respect to the food cycler program, you mentioned in your report potential for having another program for units next year. Has there been any talk about having that in the budget at this point?
Yes.
Through you, Madam Chair, I think we brought forward, there was a presentation from Food Cycle Science at a previous council meeting, and there was some discussion about incorporating that in the budget for 2024.
Okay, yeah, I think it's through you again, Madam Chair. I think it's an important program, particularly for more of our rural residents. I know we're going through a review in Bridge North with the program there for the pickup program, but I don't think that's a practical solution for more of our rural residents. So I know personally we reduced our garbage by 50% with having the food cycler. So trying to extend the life of our landfills is important. So I think the payback of getting a maximum benefit out of that budget line this year would be good for the township. Thanks.
And 5B, that's you too.
Yes, 5B again, Fire Prevention Week, great report by Andrew, and Andrew's not here. I read yesterday that I think it was Enbridge that donated, I think 150 CO smoke detectors to the city of Peterborough. So wondering whether our fire department has had any similar arrangements with Enbridge or anybody else to help get some new equipment into some of our homes as well.
Yeah, we definitely have received some of those in the past. I'm not sure if we've received any this year, but again, we aren't averse to asking, so we'll ask for more.
I'm always in favor of putting your hand up. The worst
Yep.
thing somebody can say to you is no.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
just wanted to bring that forward. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm looking for someone to move 5A and B. Deputy Mayor Black. Councillor Koulis, all in favor? That's carried. Thank you. We'll move on to, we're just trucking right along here. Other new and unfinished business, we have to cancel the special joint council meeting of September the 28th. So I need someone to move that. Councillor Henry and Councillor Boyko, all in favor? That's carried. Thank you. And we will be hearing back with a new date, correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, we're going to be the clerks of the respective municipalities and the First Nation are going to be meeting to try to find a date that we can reschedule that meeting.
Okay.
I think Councillor Boyko had a question.
Okay, okay. Okay, thank you very much. And any other new or unfinished business? Councillor Boyko.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor. I asked in advance, and so Mike, I think this is coming to Mike, about the progress on the renovations to the old post office building. We haven't heard a report on that for a while, and I was wondering if how are we doing? Are we on schedule? Or any problems on budget? And just a brief report on how we're making out with that renovation.
Through you, Madam Mayor. Right now, we're scheduled to have a substantial completion for the end of October, which would give us a November 1st opening date potentially. We're working with the chamber and the Kawartha and Peterborough Chamber to try and finalize a few things. Budget wise, we're tracking right on budget, or maybe, I hate to say it, a little bit under. I know, but we are tracking very well. There is one thing, availability of quarry stone to do some of the cosmetic stuff out front. We're not certain when that will happen, but it should be very soon. We've got the mason engaged, who's very familiar with that type of stone. And but other than that, the functional and operational parts of it are coming along very nicely. As most of you saw, we're starting to do some final grading outside with the sidewalk and the topsoil. So those are good signs, and the inside looks even nicer.
Through you, thank you very much. That's certainly good news. Something that I raised with staff that came from the Peterborough, and I'll just raise it here. I don't expect an answer here, but just to raise it, it was from the Peterborough Police Service, Police Board, that I am the Lakeville liaison on. They were asking about more signage, and I know it's something that staff is looking at, directing people to the new Morris Park. And there was some confusion that was raised by at the police board that it still says police services on the outside of that building. Now, I know we've taken off the sign that was on the side of there, but there's still that plaque that is there that still says Lakefield Police Service. And that apparently, according to the officers, is still a sign of some confusion for people looking for where is the police office. So I raised that just as a matter of passing along, as I promised I would. And I know the staff is already looking at the other sign. So thank you very much, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. All right, so we take either a 10-minute break or we go into closed, or because we're pretty much finished here. Take a break? Okay, We'll reconvene at 1:30. I would have liked to have gone in. Who's coming in? Good afternoon. We will reconvene with our public meeting, and we are first dealing with an official plan amendment for 2379 Shamong Road. We do have an attendance today, Keziah Holden from the county. Welcome. And we also, hopefully Terry Lambshead will grace us with his presence. We are going to now request that the planner announce the purpose of the meeting. Per.
Thank you, Your Worship. We actually have two applications for
Yes.
public meeting today, so I'll announce them separately as you have, Your Worship, and start with the application for 2379 Shamong Road. So the County of Peterborough and the Township of Selwyn are holding a joint public meeting to consider amendments to the County of Peterborough official plan and the local component, and the Township of Selwyn comprehensive zoning bylaw in accordance with section 17 and 34 of the Planning Act. The prescribed notice of public meeting was provided by first-class prepaid mail to all residents within 120-meter radius of the subject property, as well as by way of a sign posted on the subject lands. The notices were also available on the county and township website, and a notice was published in the Peterborough Examiner. If a person or public body does not make oral submissions at a public meeting or make written submissions to the County of Peterborough with respect to the official plan amendment or to the Township of Selwyn with respect to the zoning bylaw amendment before the county or township make a decision in respect of the official plan amendment or the zoning amendment, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision of the council of the County of Peterborough, nor the council of the Township of Selwyn to the Ontario Land Tribunal, nor can a person be or public body be added as a party to the hearing of an appeal before the Ontario Land Tribunal, unless in the opinion of the board, there are reasonable grounds to do so. If any member of the public would like written decision, a written request for that notice of decision needs to be submitted to the County of Peterborough with regard to the subdivision that we'll also be discussing today, as well as the official plan amendment to the County of Peterborough, or the request for that notice of decision regarding the zoning bylaw amendment would come here to the Township of Selwyn. So just very briefly, this is just to introduce the project a little bit. This is a 22 lot subdivision at 2379 Shamong Road. My recommendations are as follows. The council advised the County of Peterborough that the township supports the official plan amendment with modifications to amend the land use designations applicable to the subject property from highway commercial, estate residential, provincially significant wetland to estate residential special policy area, provincially significant wetland and environmental constraint area. And further, the council advised the County of Peterborough that the township supports the subdivision application County file number 15T17001 with conditions as per the attached draft plan conditions to my report, and to create a subdivision consisting of 22 residential lots, 8 blocks, and 1 internal road being Street A, as shown on the draft plan provided for the public meeting today. And that bylaw 2023-068 being a bylaw to rezone certain lands situated part lot 9 concession west of Concession Road in the Smiths Ward, having municipal address of 2379 Shamong Road from rural residential's exception zones 295 to 298 and 302, highway commercial exception zones 299 and 300, to environmental protection EP zone and environmental protection zone to rural residential holding zone and environmental protection zone, and be brought forward to the bylaw section of the agenda for consideration. In my opinion, the application conforms to the growth plan for the Greater Horseshoe, is consistent with the provincial policy statement, and meets criteria under the county and township official plans. And I do recommend these applications for approval. We have, in response to notice of circulation, we have a list on page 4 of my report outlining a number of agencies that have submitted comment, including the Ministry of Heritage regarding the archaeological assessments that have been received for registration. Canada Post has submitted comments regarding noting that community mailbox service will be provided at this location and providing a number of draft plan conditions. Similarly, Nexicom has stated that services are available and have no concerns. Peterborough Public Health has commented that they have no concerns with conditions of draft approval. Enbridge has also submitted comments of no objection with draft plan conditions. Similarly, County Public Works has submitted comments of no objection with conditions, as well as the Simcoe County District School Board on behalf of the Kawartha Pine Ridge District School Board. Curve Lake First Nation has submitted comments requesting First Nation consultation, which has been addressed by DM Wills, which Diana can speak to when she comes up for her presentation. Diana Kay is here on behalf of DM Wills. Hydro One has submitted comments of no concern. The Autonomy Region Conservation Authority has also supplied us at this stage with no objection to the draft plan approval with draft plan conditions. There are no public comments received in objection, other than Wayne and Mike Telford submitted comments requesting notice of the public meeting back in 2017. The notice of public meeting has been provided to Mike and Wayne Telford. Is there anything else I want to make note of here? With regard to the application for the official plan amendment, it's noted that we're recommending supporting that application with modifications, simply due to the fact that there is some specific official plan criteria for the lots, that they be a minimum of 0.6 hectares and that they be more or less square in their dimensions, not long and narrow. And these lots proposed for this subdivision are arguably long and narrow, and a couple of the lots are less than 0.6 hectares. So we're making an exception that within this subdivision, those rules don't apply. And also noted in my report is that all the lots do meet the lot area and frontage regulations under our rural residential zone of a minimum of 0.4 hectares and 45 meters of frontage. So they are quite large lots. I think that's all my comments for this one, unless there's any comments or questions. We can move on to Diana and Keziah.
Keziah, would you like to speak first on behalf of the county? Yes, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you. So my name is Keziah Holden. I'm the planner with the County of Peterborough. Per has given a pretty good overview, so I'll try and keep it somewhat brief and just give a little bit more process. So what the next steps are. So the County of Peterborough is the approval authority for amendments to the local component of the county official plan. And the county is in receipt of an application for an official plan amendment, which has been assigned file number 15 OP 19004 for lands located at 2379 Shabong Road in Smith Ward. In accordance with Planning Act requirements, notice of public meeting was provided to all public agencies and circulated to adjacent property owners. Notice was also provided in Peterborough this week and has been posted on the county and township websites, along with a full copy of the draft amendment and supporting studies. And if anybody is listening online today or is in attendance, if you wish to be notified of the decision for this amendment, we ask that you submit a request in writing to the county planning department. The subject lands are currently designated highway commercial, estate residential, and environmental constraint. And the purpose of the official plan amendment is to change the highway commercial designation to estate residential. Minor modifications are also proposed to the estate residential and environmental constraint designations to better reflect natural features on the property. And these changes are intended to facilitate a related plan of subdivision application. The subdivision proposes 22 residential lots with additional blocks for an internal roadway and environmental features. The existing environmental features on the site have been recognized on the plan and will be designated and zoned for their protection. A number of studies have been submitted in support of the applications, including a planning justification report, stormwater management report, environmental impact study, traffic impact study, hydrogeological and site servicing assessment, and an archaeological assessment. And those studies have been peer reviewed by the county's peer review consultant Stantec or by the Otonabee Region Conservation Authority as may be appropriate. And after a lengthy review process, those studies have been found to be satisfactory, with some requiring draft plan conditions to be implemented for the plan of subdivision. The exception to the peer review process is the archaeological assessment, which has been reviewed by the Provincial Ministry of Heritage, Sport, Tourism, and Culture Industries. The ministry has indicated that it's satisfied with the report and has entered it into their register. Several other agencies have reviewed the applications and has indicated there are no concerns with the OPA and may have provided draft plan conditions for the plan of subdivision. And Per just gave a really thorough overview of that, so I won't go over that any further. To date, the county has not received any letters of concern with the applications. So for next steps, once the county has received a recommendation on the official plan amendment from the township, the planning department will prepare a report for county council to consider, taking into account the current policy environment and comments from agencies and members of the public. And once county council makes a decision, a notice of decision will be provided in accordance with the Planning Act, and the decision of county council will be final if there are no appeals within the 20-day appeal period. So at this time, I'm available to hear any comments or questions from council or members of the public. But just a reminder, if anybody wants to receive notice of decision or has any comments, to contact either me at the county or Per at the township.
Thank you. Are there any questions of Keziah? Seeing none, I'll just now ask if Diana from Deanne Wills would like to go to the microphone, please.
Through you, Madam Chair, thank you for having me here this afternoon. My name is Diana Kay. I'm a principal planner with D.M. Wills Associates and the planner on behalf of the owners of the property, Mr. and Mrs. Hubble, who are also here today in attendance. There has been a lot of overview of this application, a very thorough staff report by Mr. Lundberg. We thank staff for their attention to this file. It's been going on for quite some time now. As you know, historically, there was draft approval on this property in 1995. It was revoked due to inactivity. However, the residential designation and zone has remained in place. There has been 2 different provincial policies that have been introduced since the submission of this application back in 2017, to which we have updated the planning report and associated studies to reflect those changes in policy. Knowing that there is an impending one for next year, we're hopefully getting these applications approved before, another change occurs. So the site has now been revised from what was previously applied for in 2017 to now only including 22 residential lots, including several blocks for environmental protection purposes. So at this point, I'd like to indicate that we do concur with staff's recommendation. We are very pleased with the outcome presented by staff today and hoping that this council will approve the application before you today. And if you have any other questions, I am available. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other proponents for this application that would like to speak? Is there anyone here that is opposed to the application? Seeing none. And was there anyone online, Deputy Clerk?
We don't have anyone to speak to the application online, but we do have Councillor Lamshead, who's just joined us from the county. He'll be on screen in a moment.
Okay. All right, so I will now bring it to council. Before I do, I'm going to make a bit of a statement. I know it's been a long haul for this applicant, several years. And the lack of housing is a critical issue, not just in our province, but right across the country. Some might say that a development like this, how would it help the issue? But whoever buys these lots to build will sell their home of lesser value, and the person moving up from a smaller home will upgrade, therefore making affordable housing available. It's a chain reaction. We need housing for people moving through various ages and stages of their life, and this development will support that. I'm going to now bring it to council. Is there anything that anyone would like to ask questions or has anything to say? No? All right, I will call the vote for the recommendation that's before us. Moved by Deputy Mayor Black, seconded by Councillor Boyko. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. Now we will move on to the next public meeting, which is for part of Lot 37, Concession 12, 2019 Hathaway Drive. And I will turn it over to Per to announce the purpose of this meeting.
Thank you, Your Worship. So I'll just announce the preamble here for this one. So that the Township of Selwyn is holding a public meeting, consider an application to amend the zoning bylaw for the Township of Selwyn in accordance with Section 34 of the Planning Act. This prescribed notice of public meeting was provided by prepaid first-class mail to all residents within 120 meters of the subject property, as well as by a sign posted on the subject lands. The notice was provided via email to prescribed ministries and agencies. The notice is also available on Township website. If a person or public body does not make oral submission at the public meeting or make written submission to the Township of Selwyn before the bylaw is passed, the person or public body may not be entitled to appeal the decision of council to the Ontario Land Tribunal, nor can a person or public body be added as a party to the hearing of an appeal before the Ontario Land Tribunal, unless in the opinion of the tribunal there are reasonable grounds to do so. So this application, as your worship stated, is for 2090 Hathaway Drive, part lot 37, concession 12 in the Smith ward. Specifically, we are rezoning the property from a local commercial C2 and environmental protection zone to local commercial exception 600. I am recommending this for approval. Specifically, the current property owner has bought the property in order to make use of it as a residential property. It's the former site of a Linwood Homes model home and sales center. So it's currently zoned local commercial, which does not permit a primary residential use. Therefore, this zoning amendment is required. It's my professional opinion that the proposal is consistent with the provincial policy statement, conforms with the growth plan for the Greater Golden Horseshoe, as well as the county and township official plans. In terms of ministries and agencies comments, we've received comments of no objection from Enbridge, the Kawartha Pine Ridge District School Board, and Peterborough Public Health. Hiawatha First Nation has submitted comments raising a concern regarding archaeological resources related to any future construction or site alteration on the subject lands. The Ministry of Transportation has also submitted comments of no objections, noting that the MTO permits will be required for any future construction activities on the property. The Autonomy Region Conservation Authority has submitted comments of no concern, stating that ORCA permits will be required for any future construction projects on the subject lands. We've also received public comments of no objection from Ashley and David Burke regarding this zoning amendment. I think that's all in regard to my comments, unless there's further questions. Okay. I should say too that the reason that we're maintaining a C2 exception to allow a primary residential as well as the commercial is just to maintain the opportunity for any future loan owners to make use of the property for commercial purposes without having to do a rezoning. Any commercial use would obviously require site plan control as the planning control on that lot for commercial uses, whereas the proposed permitted residential use can go right ahead kind of thing, right, without further planning approval.
Thank you very much. And I see Kevin Duguay is here. Are you the agent for the applicant? Is there anything you wish to add? If you do, go to the mic behind you there, please.
Well, for the record, your worship, council members, committee members and staff, my name is Kevin Duguay, and I represent the property owner, Mr. Bartlett. Now, I'd like to start off by acknowledging the expedited manner in which this application was processed. Mr. Bartlett finds himself, by way of background, he had hired originally what he thought was a planning consultant to assist with this file. And that person scammed him for several dollars, left him in an uncomfortable predicament because he's essentially has a pending purchase and sale, and he would be subject to commercial lending rates from a mortgage perspective. So he was encouraged to retain a legitimate professional planner and was directed to my office, whereupon I immediately reached out to your planner, Per Lundberg. And to put in context, there was a pre-consultation. The application, I prepare a planning justification report, other documents, prepare a survey, submit the materials to the city township. 2 days later, we have a notice of complete application and public meeting. I would say I wish that was the practice of other municipalities that I deal with throughout Central and East Ontario. This, assuming it's a favorable outcome, this is significant and important to a property owner who, with all good intentions, bought a very handsome, well-maintained property and simply wants to move in and use what was a model home as a residential unit. That's the important background. I cautioned Mr. Lundberg I was going to draw this to your attention because it's worthy of noting. This doesn't happen. There's another file similar to this. Again, it's a similar quick response. And I work in many municipalities in Ontario, and I would tell you it's not the normal practice. It appears to be the normal practice of this municipality, and I welcome that. Having said that, with respect to the staff report, I have reviewed it in its entirety with my client. We have no objection. We support the notion of retaining the commercial zoning in the event that in the future, if it was ever an inclination to utilize the property for commercial purposes, it could be done, noting that such conversion would warrant site plan approval. My client has no intention, though, of converting. He wants this property for residential purposes. We did have one question of staff at the time if there might be an assessment implication if MPAC were through zoning were to recognize that there's still a sort of a latent commercial opportunity. I've had opportunity to further pursue that with my contacts with MPAC, and it shouldn't result in any increase to taxation. There might be an adjustment because of the residential nature. We've considered the report. We've considered the recommended implementing bylaw, and I would, from my professional perspective, I'm supportive of your staff's recommendation. I make myself available for any questions should the need arise. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I just want to add to what Mr. Duguay has said. In the past little while, I've heard nothing but praise for both our building and planning department on various applications that have come forward. And on behalf of council, I thank both of you. Is there any other proponents to the application online?
We have no one here for this application, Madam Chair.
Either for or against? Correct. Thank you very much. All right, I will bring it to councillor. Are there any questions? Is there anyone that is willing to move the recommendations before us? Councillor, Henry. I know. I know. Maybe that would be a good idea. And I'm looking for a seconder. Councillor Boyko, all in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, we are going to move to bylaws now. 2023-67, the zoning bylaw for 2090 Nathaway Drive. CO 523, 2023-068 zoning bylaw for 2379 Shamong Road, CO 917, 2023-069 deeming bylaw, concession 6, part lot 6, plan M152, block 25, pin 0028 and pin 0030. And concession 6, part lot 6, plan 4, lot 14, pin 0183 Sullivan, and 2023-07 merger agreement, David and Sheridan Guilford, B16222 and B16322, pin 28448, 0209 and 0210. I need someone to move. Councillor Henry and Deputy Mayor Black, all in favor? That's carried. I'd like a motion, please, to go into closed. Councillor Henry and Councillor Boyko, all in favor? That's carried. Thank you. We'll reconvene in the other room.
Your worship, I like the idea of the swivel signs.
It helps.